Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome to another Boom Bap Breakfast right here on Black Power Media. This is the RemiX Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and your host for the day is Kalanji Jamachanga, and no other than Burn It Down Kim Brown.
Turned up like the volume. What it do?
Yeah. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, we're in a place to be. You know what I'm saying? RemiX Morning Show. Look at the Ear Doctor. It's fall time where he at.
And it's our Friday.
Okay.
Hey, all right. Fall Fridays. Ear Doctor got his shirt on with his name on it so he don't forget what his name is. I love it.
Looking like Robert Guillotine.
Wrong, you know.
Chop
him up to Robert Guillotine.
Yes.
Hey, man. He used to slay stages, Holmes. You not wrong. You not wrong.
Hey, shout out to Benson. Benson was doing it. You know what I mean?
Contrary to popular, yeah, what? Contrary to popular opinion, I'm the head nigger in charge. Come on now.
That's right. That's
right.
Right. That is his what he's known for real.
Yes. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Who that cat right there?
Coming in, tardy.
Super tardy.
Tardy. Always on time. You know what I'm saying?
Looking like he on the wrong platform. What's up? What it do?
Well, is this not like my 8:30? Like a job interview? I thought it was a job interview. My bad.
Oh, damn.
I did. You know, I'm going to interrupt y'all flow because I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I got a care package from Ashante Austin the other day.
Okay.
And he sent me a whole bunch of books. And so I just want to thank him and give a shout out. I'm not sure. He sent me like 3 Nelson. And I think he was like clearing off his old books and shit because I was like, yo, okay. But this was good. This is Burning Down the House about movies.
Okay.
Let's go.
Book on Toussaint, Haitian Revolution. You know what I'm saying? It's a good one. Habits of Whiteness. I'm going to dedicate this one to Sean King and pass that on to him and shit.
No doubt.
He's already hip, baby. He's already hip.
True. Lies. I mean, everybody got the classic. It's like a classic lies. My teacher told me. But then inside, they break on Black nationalists a little bit, so I wasn't too pleased at the very end.
He was still lying.
You know what I'm saying? And then exactly. And then the last one is Empire. So
was that the movie?
Good books.
Oh, boy.
TV show, you
boy,
mean?
shut up.
TV show.
Lucius and Cookie Lion, the story of
the man said, boy, shut up. Hey, listen.
Hey, since we giving shout outs, big up to Dante Ferguson, new member. Big up.
Hey, thank you, Dante. Good morning.
Dante's flaming it right now. What's happening, Dante?
Hey, yo, Kamal, before you got on, we was talking about Halloween. You letting your kids go out and trick or treat?
Yeah, my aunt, my sister, their aunt is sending a whole bunch of like different. So she's got some Halloween bag on a stick, so it stretches out this long, and so you don't have to come within a certain distance of the people giving you candy, and they can just like dump it in. So we're probably gonna go around the neighborhood. We used to go to a friend's block, but that like in Grant Park, but that's like the popping neighborhood for Halloween.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, so it's like we haven't gone there like the last couple of years. You know, and white folks love Halloween. I mean, it was never a huge holiday in my life until kids and moving to the South. In Brooklyn, you might go to some stores, steal some candy, get thrown out. You know, you knock on some apartments, throw some eggs, you run, but that's it. That's it. Yeah. It's not like some huge celebration. It's like folks are dressing up down here and got on their own costumes. You know, all the parents are out a little drinky and the shit in their bag. I'm like, yo, this is like a huge celebration out in this bitch.
No doubt. Some of these folks dress regular now. You know what I'm saying? They like, oh, I could be myself today. And motherfuckers won't even notice. Yo. Anyway, shout out to Mischief.
It's always the weird thing about Halloween, especially when it comes to like women's costumes. It's like all the costumes are like the slutty blank.
Night nurse.
Be the slutty nurse, or be the slutty cop, or be the slutty whatever. It's like,
So what was you last time, Kim?
Like, come on, shorty. I don't participate in no pagan holidays.
Burn them down, Kim.
If I had kids, yeah, maybe, but shit. I'm out here child free, baby. I ain't doing none of that shit.
In other words, Kim was the nurse.
The slutty nurse. Be the slutty nurse.
Word. Come on in, little man.
Well, y'all rock out. I'll catch y'all next break.
Thank you, doctor.
Good to see you. You said the man had his shirt on, so his name on the shirt, so he don't forget his name.
So he don't forget his own name.
Okay. Man, RemiX Morning Show is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Feel like the black Mr. Rogers out this motherfucker.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? What's today? Friday? RemiX Friday?
RemiX Friday.
Thursday.
I see somebody said something about Mischief Night. Y'all have Mischief Night in your neighborhood, man? With the day before Halloween, night before Halloween. That's when you throw the eggs and the socks with the powder in it and whatnot. You know what I mean?
So
powder. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kim.
Huh?
Oh no, I was saying like in my low crime suburban neighborhood, this is Halloween is the time where cops actually get to do something, right? Like so, their whole purpose for Hell Night or the night before Halloween or on Halloween is basically to just fuck with the children and make sure the kids are not out here egging stuff and snatching kids' bags. So no, I never participated just because the police would just Halloween is their night to do something. So I wasn't fucking with them.
That's wild because it was the opposite in my neighborhood. That's when the police get fucked up because they don't know who's in this mask. You got 100 motherfuckers with Mr. T masks on and shit, little cats. So you had a lineup. You had one cat that's 2 feet tall, somebody else is 5'8", other one 6'2". You know what I'm saying? That's when you get at them. So that's
mine it was like, you're racing home from school, just trying like either you were egg thrower or you were egg catcher. And egg catcher, you know what I mean? So you you're trying to dodge your way back home to make sure you ain't hit with no egg by some group that's got like they loaded up or something like that. But that's as far as Mischief Night gets. It's like either you attacked or you will be an attacker.
We get started right in the school, straight out to Central High School. The eggs go coming right down the corridor, and as soon as the bell ring, your ass at the other end, somebody getting yoked. They just throw it out into the crowd, and it's just like a full crowd of folks.
Mm-hmm. Cafeteria was war, B. The cafeteria. Oh yeah. All of a sudden, everybody sitting at the, and the egg comes launching across the whole. Woo, whoosh,
goes down.
It's like incoming.
Yeah. I feel bad now thinking about that, but anyway.
I was hoping Jackie Lukman and I could be Salt and Pepper for Halloween, but Jackie ain't called me back. So I mean, maybe Jackie not with that idea of she and I being Salt and Pepper for Halloween. Maybe that was just my idea.
Oh man,
I like that. I like that.
You like that? Who you gonna be? Kamal? You gonna be Herbie Lovebug? Or you gonna be?
I could be Herbie B. I could be Herbie.
Respect to Herbie Lovebug. He brought Go-Go to New York. I appreciate that. Yes.
I give him credit for that.
Okay.
He's still alive, right?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Oh my God,
maybe the ear doctor could be Bushwick Bill. This year Halloween fell on the weekend. No, that work. Okay, maybe not. Anyway, shout out to the remixes out in the chat.
Rising power to Bushwick Bill. Shout out to Bushwick Bill. The memory of Bushwick Bill. Bushwick Bill was a pioneer out here, really.
I got a couple Bushwick stories here in Atlanta because he lived in Atlanta for a while. And Bushwick, I remember we was at this spot real quick on Peter Street. You know Peter Street come out. So we had this little club spot and chilling with his brother from out of town and his girl. And dudes like him and his girl walk up to Bushwick and they wanted to take a picture. So he took the picture with them and shit. Then Bushwick started kicking up my man's wife and shit. So dude was like, his wife is like, oh, that's my husband right there. He said, man, I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, so such and such. So my man getting mad and shit. He about to fight Bushwick Bill up in the club and shit. I'm like, this is all wrong and shit, man. You can't fight Bushwick Bill. Bushwick standing up on top of the bar and shit, talking shit. Like, you gotta get up out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get fucked up by Bushwick Bill. That might not be a good thing.
Yeah, that's not a good
Shout
look.
out to Bushwick.
It's not a good look. Getting fucked up by Bushwick Bill is not a good look, B.
Get drop kicked. You know what I'm saying? But RIP to Bushwick Bill and shit.
And if you were, no offense to Bushwick, but if you're worried about him hitting on your wife, you got other problems too.
I'm not gonna comment on all that. Anyway, how you doing today, Kim? I saw Kim came in with the pajama robe yesterday, huh? I didn't notice that to the past joint. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay.
It was chilly. It's the seasons are changing. And I had a tank top. I put on a tank top and I said, "Ooh, it's chilly." I said, "Let me throw on this robe." And I didn't feel like, putting on like an actual shirt because the robe was so, fuzzy and comfy. I said, "Let me just do this." They'd be all right.
You carried it off. You carried it well.
Thank you very much.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, in the spirit of y'all aunties and grannies rocking the house coat. any 24/7. Let's do it. Whatever.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my robes and house coats to myself, but it's all good in the hood. You know what I mean?
You probably got the satin joints. You probably got the satin print joints.
I agree. Don't let them play you. You probably got some little furry collar thing.
Wow.
You get out of his little bath. He puts a little robe on.
Looking like Ghostface off Bulletproof Wallets.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? Yes.
Hey, walking on roses, man. Don't hate on the God. You know what I'm saying? I'm smooth with the roughness. You know what I mean? Got to keep it moving like that. Anyway, y'all ain't gonna worry me about my robe. I heard your man Big Tigger's back with the basement and whatnot, man.
Who's man?
Well, I mean, remember Big Tigger from the basement, man? Come on, man. Yo, this Big Tigger. I saw him, my man Toby doing a freestyle in his booth, man. That was pretty dope, you know, but y'all don't seem to care about that. Moving right along.
I was like, who you talking to? I was like, I don't follow none of them. Is that a Kim comment?
You watched the basement back in the day, Big Tigger?
I'm more of a Rap City with Joe Claire kind of cat.
That's because you're from DC. I mean, nobody will mess with Rap City with Joe Claire. We might mess with back in the day. Who was that? Donnie Simpson. And what was homegirl name from the Caribbean?
Big Les.
No, not Big Les. Shout out to Big Les as well. But the sister that used to
Rachel, Caribbean vibes.
Yeah, Rachel was not. She was probably from the hood somewhere in DC, acting like she was Miss Cleo's daughter. Call me now. It's all good.
I think she was Jamaican. I think I remember seeing like her like on an Air Jamaica flight or something. And I thought she was.
That's horrible. Shout out to Carp Diem who said I got an ascot. You know what I'm saying? That was lame.
I can see that.
Come out. I know. Come out and just say that he can see me with an ascot.
I can't.
See the satin robe. I can see the silk robe. I can't see the ascot.
I know. Ascots. No asses on the cots around here. We don't do it like that. That's how we keep it moving. No ascots, baby. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's gonna be a beautiful show today. It's Thursday, Friday in the world of in the hood. And we got the ear doctor. I heard the ear doctor gonna be spinning some tunes today.
Oh, he is. What?
Yeah, heard he gonna be throwing down today, man. You know the ear doctor come with it. It's gonna be Sundays today. Ear doctor, don't let us down.
We're not monetizing. We don't care about that revenue. You gonna just throw down? Fuck a copyright.
No, nah,
fuck a copyright, B.
Well,
we gangster or what?
Don't listen to Kalaji, but I am gonna play some tunes.
Thank God.
Who you got behind you, ear doctor, man? It looked like someone familiar.
The one you might not notice it because you can't see her forehead, but that is Sade.
My girl
Helen, come on, Helen.
Yes,
Helen, hola Sade, I do. Right. The one and only.
She won't call about the government.
I see you rocking that forehead today, Kim Brown.
Ear doctor. Yes, ear doctor, correct. Thank you. That's my big forehead sister right there. Big five.
Wait a minute, her government name is Helen.
Helen,
yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah,
hola Sade.
But Kim, don't get ahead of yourself though.
There we go.
Hey, so we headed to the break.
We should after that.
Yeah. Live from headquarters, Remix Morning Show. We out here. No.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to another Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and we are at our first break, and it is time to give some love to one of our artists that has done it. But before we do that, make sure y'all go to the bottom of the page, hit that like button, subscribe so you can know the next time another show is coming on Black Power Media, and also go to patreon.com and drop some change on the bucket on Black Power Media so we can keep this movement going big and strong. All right, so bam. Let's talk about who you see on the screen. Let me beautiful woman Sade, boy, I tell you. Let me tell you a little bit about Sade, but why I tell you about Sade, I just want to give y'all little visuals, if that's all right with y'all. For the people that's watching, for the people that's not, well, I'm still going to talk. So check this out. All right, so let's start with Sade, or as she's known as, Helen. And let's take it back to the morning crew. because you know how we do. Let's go. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
that's right. Diamond Life.
Heads up. Yes.
You listed off so many of her classic joints, yo. Sade, put some respect on her name, man, because several of them albums you listed are you can just rock them joints and not skip anything. Lovers Rock, Stronger Than Pride. Come on now, put some respect on Helen's name out here, man. Helen was she is a talent. Oh, she's so good
and beautiful.
Little overrated.
Yo,
no,
he bugging. No. We used to be on the block blasting Sade and Alexander O'Neal.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Sade on the block.
On
That's
the
how
block.
they do in Connecticut.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Let me tell you something. Hey, listen, man. Listen. I had more juice and trim than the ear doctor. What you talking about? I was on his block blasting. Anyway.
Nah, for real. Sade. Go continue, Kalonji. My bad.
Come out, gonna try to say that Sade was overrated.
I mean, like, overrated, man. Come on, man.
So the last time Sade toured, I'm gonna say maybe that was 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. And I took my mom, because my mother's my concert road dog, to go see some quality shows. And we went up to Philly to go see Sade, and John Legend was her opening act. And I was like, Mama, you trying to get there to see John Legend? And she's like, I'm like, okay, fine. We'll get there after John Legend goes off to see Sade exclusively. And she rocked. She jammed. The band, oh my goodness. Sweetback, the band that backs her. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about the Brits, but Brits do soul music really well. Like when they hit it right there in that pocket. I don't know why UK people do American soul music so good, black soul music so good, but they got it.
Did you all know she was Nigerian?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Everybody knew that. I mean, I didn't know her name was Helen, but everybody knew she was like Nigerian. B.
Everybody knew her name was Helen.
I didn't know that.
I didn't.
Everybody knows she kind of slightly, overrated.
Yeah, well, that's
her voice is average. Her voice is average, B. Her voice is average.
Who are you comparing her to, Kamal? That you're saying?
You're right. Not the greats. You're right. She's like, top. She's like top 50 all-time female artist.
But compared to whom? I'm curious, like out of her era in the 1980s R&B, like who are you saying that she was just all right compared to?
I'm confused. I like to know.
Whitney beat her. And Whitney was
Whitney had more hits commercially. But Sade
Whitney was a better singer than Sade.
Come on now.
You're not trying to say Sade's in Whitney's category range.
Boy, you higher than Bobby Brown, boy.
It's almost like you talk about what you were like, yeah, Isaiah Thomas was a good point guard, but Jordan was better than him. Of course, Jordan was better than him. Bro.
That's all I want. That's all I want. Some acknowledgement that she's slightly,
I don't know.
Dudes love her. She was a light-skinned mulatto chick.
Hey, yo.
I'm just like saying whatever.
When we talking about Sade, this is the best thing we could have did all day.
Amen. I pray.
Just take him off the screen. Good Lord.
You don't want to start that, man.
You went time out, man. I'm out of here, man, before I get mad.
I wore one of her shirts for you, though. Look.
Yeah, you did. Hey, don't do it with a V-neck t-shirt, though. I'll catch y'all later.
I wear it well.
About to say, Kamal, you out here trying to show the chesticles. We see you, bro.
A little bit. Wait a minute.
We don't want to see the chesticles, brother.
Take another button down. Take another. Oh shit! Yes, sir. Take it down.
Please take us to the news, please.
Spin that globe. Please spin that globe.
Somebody, please spin the globe. Air doctor, save us, please, brother.
No, look, he's having problems back there. He's too busy looking at the Sade thing.
Welcome.
You know who else is underrated? Angela, Renee and Angela. You know what I'm saying? You got
be good.
Everybody's always, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's just like she doesn't get the proper credit.
I think it's
Kim's
because of lack of hits, but her voice.
Lack of hits. Yes, Angela Winbush. What is come out talking about the lack of hits?
You said Renee and Angela. That's
Angela Winbush, homie.
And Renee. What about Renee?
Yes.
Renee was a great. Renee was the dude.
Renee's the dude. He was a great songwriter. He wrote stuff for like Michael Jackson and other people as well. What happened with Renee and Angela? What happened with Renee and Angela? Ron Isley came along. He wanted her to do music with her. There was some jealousy between him and Renee, and Isley ended up scooping her up, marrying her, and that was that. But yeah, Angela Winbush comes from Renee and Angela.
I take that. Her voice is golden.
Yes,
golden. Your smile, like sometimes when I hear Angela Winbush's "Your Smile," it makes me cry. Like it's such a beautiful song. It's so pretty, and I think it's actually written about her grandmother. Which makes it that much more sentimental because you listen to it and you don't think that it's going in that direction, but then you can hear it again.
No doubt. But yeah, definitely we need those hits. Anyway, I know Kamal got some dope news for us today. Kamal, please button your shirt. God damn, brother.
What's wrong with you, right? I mean,
nothing.
I usually don't go in the chat, but my man, somebody said this was just too hilarious. They were like, I'm queer and I don't even want to see that come out. I understand how my type B
striking out now.
Too ready for revolution. And again, I like to stay out the chat, but you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you? I might go, how about that now? How about that? You telling me how to wear my shirt?
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
I think you have nice clavicles there, Kamal. You look fine.
Thank you, Kim.
Clavicles are shining, glowing.
Thank you so much.
I came on the wrong day.
Next break, it might be less than this. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, everybody!
I keep promising. I might have
Cash App up there. Put your Cash App. Come out. Don't take it all for free now.
Minister Server, come through and help us out, man. We need prayer. Anyway.
You know what? All right, I got some stories.
Right along.
I got some stories.
Silver taco meat, Lisa.
So the first,
a Gray Panther. Come on, man.
Y'all gonna go through the list now of all the comments? I thought we stayed out the chat. Y'all gonna go through the whole list.
The Gray Panther party. Anyway, man, what's that?
Y'all got to give Lisa a prize for silver taco meat. She deserves.
Lisa just hurt my stomach. I definitely won't have breakfast today. But anyway,
okay. The first story we got up, even though this story is a few years old because it actually started when Congressperson Omar came out. Pronounce her first name for me.
Ilhan
Omar came out and. In her book and talked about the person who inspired her to be a politician the most was Margaret Thatcher, 1980s British Prime Minister. And, if it was just some sort of, this was the first person, and her story or her thing is that, as a young girl, she saw her and it made her think that as a woman, she could be a politician. And so she was inspired by it. I get that, as a child, I played with, childish things. But when you grow up, you should leave that shit alone. But apparently not. Apparently, she keeps on talking about in an interview recently. She said, so she was asked, who was the person that you'd most want to meet, and dead or alive? And she again named Margaret Thatcher. Wow. Margaret Thatcher of right-wing politics, of conservatism, of warmongering with Ronald Reagan. This person, who was a quote-unquote leading member of the progressive left squad, continually brings up the name of Margaret Thatcher as either her inspiration and or, again, the person that she most would love to meet if she so had somebody dead or alive. And again, it's not so much that it's a huge story, but it just puts it within a certain context of how this so-called progressive squad thinks. And this is even mixed with the I'm forgetting his name, but it's a new member of Congress, a brother who
Jamal Bowman.
Yes, exactly. Who was recently elected, who did a tweet a couple of days ago around Colin Powell talking about, again, he was his inspiration. So I'm like, who are you progressive? Like, what is your politic? So, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. It's like this discord around what your politics are.
Yo, Margaret Thatcher is the same piece of shit. And I say that, sorry if I offend anyone, but it's the same piece of shit who sat by and tortured the Irish. You know what I'm saying? The Irish political prisoners that were on a hunger strike. I'm talking about, I believe it was like 10, 15 of them. They went on a hunger strike and she was like, fuck them, let them die. You understand what I'm saying? She stood there and just watched them deteriorate. So, she is like, her and like Reagan are like, she's like, a Reagan of the UK, man. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. You really saying that this is who you idolize, you know what I mean? That speaks volumes, man.
I'm trying to give Ilhan the benefit of the doubt here, because maybe she said she wants to meet Margaret Thatcher so she can slap the shit out of Margaret Thatcher. Maybe did y'all ever think about that?
Well, according to her, not. She admits, she states that the politics are different, but she was definitely inspired. And again, I probably wouldn't even have brought it up if it was like, when I was young, this is the person I saw on TV, and there weren't a lot of women.
I used to love New Kids on the Block. You know what I'm saying? When I was 11.
Yeah. Yeah. You are wilding for New Kids on the Block. However, you was 11, and Margaret Thatcher, New Kids on the Block. Although New Kids on the Block, couple of the members were racist as well. You know what I'm saying?
That's too bad. You mean the Wahlbergs?
We heard the stories of them chasing down some black folks, calling them niggas in Boston.
Mark Wahlberg, yes, his brother Donnie, yes.
Yeah, so fuck Wahlbergs too, but Margaret Thatcher is like a whole nother level. That's like you being a politician yelling that you are progressive and you support Ronald Reagan. I just don't understand that shit. It's like,
it's the exact equivalent.
It's confusing.
Yeah,
really confusing.
And it's just that representative politics of like, she's a woman, or I support these progressive politics, but I want you to know that I'm part and parcel to the system, right? So I think those folks are acceptable people for me to like, to support, to wish well wishes, to give them sort of triumphant statements upon their passing and all that they've done. And again, it's all within that representative framework of like, these folks may look like me, or they may say have the same gender as me, and so politics out the window.
I think the squad needs to go sit down with Cynthia McKinney and talk about world politics. You know what I'm saying? And talk about what they should and should not say. I don't know who their mentors are, but they're becoming more confusing and confusing. AOC with that last shit with Israel and everything. I'm trying to like, and our people, they get so confused. They think that everything black is cool, or just being a woman is cool, or just being a part of the LBGT's community cool. It don't go like that. What is your politics? You know what I'm saying? What do you stand for? You know what I mean? I don't support black people just because of the fact that they have nappy hair, big nose, and big lips, motherfucker. We need more than that. We need to know what is it that you're bringing to the table and what side of the barricade you're going to be on. You know what I'm saying? So, fuck her and Thatcher. Pardon my English. Anyway.
So I got a story that's tied to that a little bit about the international politics. So, Politico is a news magazine here in the United States, and they just was purchased by a German company whose owner has said that the new Politico owner will enforce a pro-Israel policy.
Oh, shit.
So Alex Springer, CEO, makes clear that tenets such as support for Israel's right to exist apply to every employee in our company, even if they won't have to sign a pledge in writing. And why that's brought up is because in the German papers that this person owns, they actually have to sign a pledge in writing that they will support Israel's right to exist. And he goes on to say that as a German-based company, that he's a long supporter of Israel, but that Germany has a duty to support Israel.
So I don't have. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't even have a problem with that because of the fact that they're stating their position, and we should be clear. So it's like, okay, boom, this is your choice. If you roll with this bullshit, this is what you have to do, or you get up out of it because of the fact that would you really want to work with a motherfucker who supports Zionist Israel? You know what I'm saying? Knowingly, they're at least saying, look, this is what we're about. Black Power Media. We are pro-black. You know what I'm saying? We're about Black power. It's clear. We're not going to have, sorry, we got some cool white allies and all that, but you can't be hosting on Black Power Media because it's a contradiction. You know what I'm saying? Now, we might have you come through and talk about the thing, talk about something, because truth is truth. So I respect the fact that, you know, at least he's straight up with his shit, opposed to fronting like this ain't what we on. You know what I'm saying? Or like Black Lives Matter. He said, no, motherfucker, Zionist lives matter, and this is what it is. Either you're pro-Israel or you're not. So that's just me. I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely a chilling of speech when a publication, a media outlet, where allegedly you have the freedom of speech, allegedly, in this country, and the ownership. I mean, it sort of circles back to the corporatization of media outlets generally, right? Like you're not able to report on stories or perspectives that you necessarily find important or worthy. You are at the mandate of your corporate bosses. Whatever they feel is in their best interest are the stories that will make it into your news cycle. But wasn't there a number of politicians, I want to say out of New York State, that were trying to make like BDS illegal or criminalize or punish people who supported the BDS campaign?
There's been a number of states across, there's been a number of states across the country even that have put, in terms of who gets access to state resources, part of their contractual agreements is to not state certain things about Israel, or to not be quote unquote anti-Israel, or to not support boycotting Israel, I should say specifically. And that's, you know, and again, that's part of the Western ideological framework, right? Is that Israel is an outpost of Western capitalism. And as Joe Biden, Jim Crow Biden famously said, if Israel did not exist, they would have had to create it anyway. Why? Because it supports their frontierism in terms of them having outposts where they can have military surveillance, land control over population. So military is basically Israel is basically a fort, you know, for Western superiority. And I think similarly around Politico, it's like Politico presents itself as every now and then a neutral paper that's giving you straight news. It's not presenting itself as an advocacy media outlet that's saying it presents some side or another. So it's not necessarily always telling you that its stories are pro-Israel or in favor of Israel, even though, of course, when you read mainstream media, that's what you should expect. And then my last comment on it for me is I always tell people, you know, if after World War II, Germany was divided up, and because of the genocide committed by German Christians against German Jews, if Germany was divided up and Israel was created out of Germany, I would be the number one supporter of the nation state of Israel, because that would be reparations. That would be justice. If you kill and massacre your own fellow citizens in the millions, you should have to give up land so that they can be safe and secure. They could have been NATO equivalent to like sort of military to stop Germany from any invasion. They could have continually do what they're doing now and giving that nation state a huge military budget to make sure that Germany could never reconstitute or reconquer that land. If that was the case, I would be a complete supporter. But instead, what they did was take away land from other people who had nothing to do with that particular conflict based on an ideology that had nothing to do with that particular land. So, you know.
So, in agreeing with what you're saying on that, also just backtracking to what you said about how they present themselves as being a neutral reporter of the news, more or less. My thing is just appreciating the fact that, okay, boom, let's not get it twisted and let's be clear so it's properly understood. Although we front like, you know what I'm saying, basically we're in blackface, you know what I'm saying, to put it blunt. So although we front like we're for everybody, this is what the deal is right here. Sign this waiver because this is what we really support right here. I want to point, son, I'm gonna do Jared, and jump in the chat. I see that someone said, I believe Franny French said something about it's not equivalent because Israel has power. I want to point out that Africans have power as well. It's just not it's not organized. You know what I'm saying? So we're not we don't bow down to anyone, and we don't just say because of the fact that any particular country or nation is backed by imperialists that they are more powerful than the next. We have to be clear that we will, and this is part of the work we're doing, we will get our power in check. And when we say Black Power Media, that's our ultimate goal. It's not about just a slick soundbite or a name. So I just want to point that out real quick.
And I don't, this whole idea that Israel has a right to exist. I'm fully in agreement with what Kamal said. Israel surely should exist in the lands in which most Jewish people were slaughtered and murdered under the supervision of the German government. But I'm just struck by, I'm remembering the NDAA authorization, the hearing, the whole debate that they had in Congress about giving the $1 billion to the Israeli Iron Dome. And one of the Congress people that stood up in opposition to this was Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib of Michigan. She's Palestinian, and she laid into them niggas on the floor of the Congress. And right after she got finished calling Israel all kinds of human rights violators and this, that, and the third, the white man's heads exploded. I talked about this on my show. Republican and Democrat came out in strong condemnation of her comments. And the one Republican congresswoman person, I can't recall his name, but he started frothing at the mouth about the Holocaust. And how can she stand up here when my people died in the Holocaust? Nigga, the Holocaust was not in Palestine. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate that muddying of the facts. And it's so easy to manipulate people about historical incidents because people don't know history. And they would be like, yeah, the Palestinians shouldn't be messing with Israel because of the Holocaust. And it's like, these things don't have anything to do with the other.
Right. Let's just that's like me saying, I'm going to take your neighborhood because of the fact that some white folks gentrified my shit. So I'm moving into your house. Like, look, I just feel like, shit, I know somebody that used to live here before you moved here. So I'm going to go ahead and move up in this motherfucker. Mm-hmm. But in their case, I don't even think they used to live there before they moved in there. They just said, fuck it. Here's a group of people that we can overpower for the time being. Mm-hmm. And we can get these other bullies to back us. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you, B. More Kuna, for clarifying that. Yes. Anytime people have something critical to say about the state of Israel, the whole anti-Semitic slur comes on out. And it's like, no, it's nothing anti-Semitic about criticizing Israeli and Zionist policies and the way that they operate an apartheid state for the Palestinian people. Ain't nothing anti-Semitic about that, man. Mm-hmm. Y'all shit just suck.
Right out. Shout out to the Palestinians out there. Shout out to the hip hop group Damn, people out in Palestine. The first hip hop group from Palestine. They have a dope documentary called Slingshot. I hosted a couple of shows when they came to the States, and they told me that they learned they learned English from listening to Tupac. You know what I'm saying? They said they were in Palestine and they would just be listening to Tupac shit all the time. And they were actually, that's how they learned English, but they're a real dope revolutionary hip hop group out that way. And, so shout out to them. But anyway, thank you for this refreshing news, man, because it seems like, it's like folks act like they are afraid to speak out against Israel's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a crime against humanity.
For sure.
When you try to silence a motherfucker for telling the truth about your bullshit. Like, get up out of here with that dumb shit. And fuck how much money that the United States give to them because of the fact that the dollar and all that shit will eventually fall. And it ain't about money. Power is about self-determination. And those who are determined to go for it will eventually receive what they're working for. And that's the bottom line. So George Jackson, reparations and blood. Anyway, what else we got going on?
I got something. Hold on. Let me let Granny get her shit together. Hold on. So I'm not sure if you guys were following social media yesterday, but there was a walkout at Netflix behind the Dave Chappelle special. I'm not sure if you guys are doing this. Sharing works on a good computer. Thank you. I'm aware. How do you share it with the audio?
It should be the thing up under it. It should be 2 share buttons, I believe.
The thing up under it.
Wait. I'm lying to you. Share screen, it should say with audio. You should be able to click it. And we're giving away our tech information. For all the folks.
Everybody else who has StreamYard.
As you can tell, our producer's not here today.
Which
Shout
is
out
everybody.
to the producer who's out sick.
Oh, she doing that thing with her screen again.
Amen.
Oh, Lord.
I like to make
There you
y'all
Okay.
in the matrix. But I don't know if the sound's gonna play, but we'll figure this out here.
Well, you can translate for us.
Okay. Well, yeah. So yesterday in Los Angeles at Netflix's LA headquarters, dozens of workers walked out to protest The Closer, which is the recent Dave Chappelle Netflix special, in which Dave Chappelle spent an inordinate amount of time talking about LGBTQ, specifically the trans community. So let's listen to some of this natural sound here real quick. This came from Anita Bennett, TV Anita. TV Anita was out there on the scene. So let's check out some of the scenes from Netflix headquarters in Los Angeles. All right. Well, that's just to give you an idea. And of course, there was a number of speakers. People came through. Employees of Netflix were there to voice their displeasure with the comedy geniuses recent special. And yeah, I'm just curious about y'all's thoughts. I mean, I definitely think that if any group of people feel as if their company is either misrepresenting their values as a group, they absolutely have the right to walk out. They have the right to protest in the way that they did. I think the Netflix CEO, if I'm not mistaken, had apologized for some comments that he made defending Chappelle's special. I think alluding to the fact that it was very popular among subscribers and basically saying that the LGBTQ community need to chill out because Dave is bringing them lots of money right now.
Money. Exactly. I think he backtracked on some of that and through his apology, which still it feels like this dude is trying to thread a needle. Like he doesn't want to upset a certain subscriber base, which supports Dave, but he should have an understanding that his subscriber base is larger than that. And I agree with you. I think any group that feels defamed, that watches something and says, this is not just in poor taste, but this rhetoric is harmful, has a right to protest and should protest, right? And should have that be out there doing that to make sure that they think standards are changing. Again, in this particular case, more representation happens, and that folks, again, at least for them, they feel like the idea that rhetoric, which can be interpreted as harmful, has to be checked or understood that there are some issues with it now. So it doesn't even, for me, it doesn't even matter what side of the fence I fall on in terms of the argument. It's just, I think they have a perfect right and should, just as anybody would say that Dave has a right to do his comedy and find venues to do his comedy. Folks have a right and should react in a way that maybe even teaches Dave something about whether, how far he goes, what he should say, how he should say it, whether or not there's an actual infliction of harm based on the repetitive nature of talking about a particular community in 3 or 4 straight specials. So, because I tell folks, I thought, not getting too deeply into the comedy or whatever, but the last couple of specials, I thought, I didn't individually, right? It's not my community per se, but I didn't have a particular strong issue with it. But I thought this particular special was like a repeat of those, and almost like sort of a defensiveness around his own jokes. And so that made it not only not funny, and not as funny as some of his other specials, but it seemed particularly like there was a dwelling on something. So that was just my take in terms of it.
Yeah, I really hope that Black folks in general take note and come with the same momentum. You know what I mean? All the time. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that oftentimes it's like we're fragmented, and it's like, when it comes to just saying like, okay, boom, this is how we feel. Certain sectors of the community just, don't say shit. They rather just sit quiet. So shout out to anyone who stands up for whatever their beliefs are and however they feel, whether folks disagree with them or not. If you feel like you have been insulted or disrespected or whatever, yeah, you know, do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Surely,
And like I said, hopefully, you know, we as an entire community can say, look, you know, yeah, every time a motherfucker say something or move a certain way, then we should respond. You know, and that's something that even with the Jewish community, it's like you can't say shit without them saying, look, no, wait, that's anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? But black folks as a whole, they just like, oh, fuck it. Well, they used to do this and they like this and move right along. So, you know, I mean, I hope, like I said, folks take notes and make efforts to, you know, do the same.
so Shirley is asking in the chat, what is the end game here? What is their ultimate goal? And I think, Shirley, that the goal is to get the special removed. Though I have to imagine that the people that were out there protesting yesterday probably have a very good understanding that it's not going to get removed, just because of the enormity of Dave Chappelle, and because I don't think it's a consensus that what Dave's material aimed at the trans community specifically, everyone is not in agreement that what he said is offensive, right? So I think to get the special removed is going to be an almost an arduous task, if not an impossible task, because there's so many people out here that be like, I don't think that Dave said anything wrong. They didn't do nothing wrong. So when you have that sort of mass divisiveness and people cannot agree on whether or not the thing is actually offensive, and of course, depending on who was actually offended by this, I think the workers at Netflix, the gay workers and those who support the LGBTQ workers, are trying to get it removed, but I don't think that it's going to happen. And I think they understand that. I think they just wanted to get their opposition very much on the record. Like, hey, just make no mistake that we ain't with this shit. If y'all decide to keep it up there, fine. But it's known. Y'all know how we feel about this, and you can't say that you didn't know.
And I think tactically for a community like this, it's also about more for you know what the particular struggle is around Netflix, and then it's about pushing to get more trans or openly LGBTQ comedians to also have opportunities for a kind of break in Netflix, so that folks can see whether or not that comedy will be responsive to an audience, which brings in, for Netflix's purposes, more people. You know, for me, it's kind of, you know, it's the rapper, what's the rapper who is
the baby,
the
baby?
No, the rapper who's gay.
Oh, I don't know.
That should be easy because there's only one prominent gay rapper right now.
Oh, Lil Nas X.
Thank you. I can't, you know, I don't follow this shit no more. But it's like, you know, how long, like hip hop has taken literally, you know, 40 or 50 years for, again, whether people, they like his raps or they like the videos or whatever, you know, their own homophobia comes into place when they see the stuff. But it took 50 years for hip hop to break a openly gay rapper, right? And that says something. So the same thing could potentially, you know, there's always been folks who've been LGBTQ in comedy and in hip hop, whatever, and some more openly over the years. But again, these openings happen and more folks can step in that space who represent different points of view, who can, if they feel like they need to counteract the narrative or they just need to put forth a stronger narrative that says, you know, again, that my sex life, my gender or whatever is not cause for folks to demean, diminish, and then lead to violence against, then that too can be a win and for that particular community. So,
well, the one thing Netflix did get, and Dave Chappelle, one thing that they did get was a hell of a promo run, because of the fact that Dave started off the day before the special drops with the commercial with Morgan Freeman, telling Morgan Freeman to shut the fuck up. And then it led into this joint right here. And for the past several weeks, this has been in the news. So if nothing else, even in the effort to have the shit shut down, more people are watching it and more people are responding to it because of the fact that it's staying in the news. And and I would love if this same count, again, this week is Congo week. You know what I'm saying? Over 6 million Africans have been slaughtered, executed, and even more tortured. You know what I mean? And that's something that's not in the news, and that's something that should be a international outcry. This has been going on for the last 25 plus years, and it's like, you know, I'm not comparing anything or anybody. I'm just saying, like, shit, we need to hop on this particular news in the same manner, in the same fashion, and folks should be outraged, and we should be in the streets talking about what the fuck is going on in the Congo, the U.S.'s responsibility, Belgians, what they've done to assist that shit, and deal with that. But I guess that's too difficult of a fight.
But then you better tell Dave Chappelle to make some jokes about it. So
hey, that is, I mean, sad but true. That's just the reality of it. You know?
Hey man, I mean, that's the power of his platform, right? Like Dave is almost like a conversation starter within himself, and the topics that he chooses to make his comedy about are things that people talk about. So it's like, you know, Dave, try to use your powers for good out here. Like, I mean, use it for good. Don't be out here punching down. And just to clarify for some people that were in the chat, like the videos that I saw, the additional videos besides the one that we just showed you, I mean, it was Black people out there. Don't get it twisted. It was Black LGBTQ folks out there, standing shoulder to shoulder with the white LGBTQ folks, because, you know, I mean, that they're in community, but we are in community with our Black, gay, and trans brothers and sisters too. So, you know, while you may see overwhelmingly the white folks screaming the loudest and bitching about this, is plenty of Black and gay trans people out here bitching too. So, I mean, we need to pay attention to their voices and just don't dismiss them just because the white folks are screaming a little bit louder.
So on that note, we about to bring on the ear doctor.
Let's go, ear doctor.
You about to come back on, son?
Huh?
Yeah.
You about to do a show? You about to do a show, son?
Hey, you know how I do, man. We got the artist spotlight time. We about to bring forth a dope artist. So that's what we're gonna do. Y'all ready?
We ready.
Let's get it.
Get it popping. Remix morning show.
Remix.
Yo, what's good, everybody? How y'all doing out there? This is the Remix Morning Show, and I am back once again. We got the spotlight. We got a dope artist. And speaking of, let me just give you a taste of what this next artist is bringing to y'all. So y'all sit back and enjoy this, and then we're going to bring our artist in. But this is something that they do. Check this out.
Ray.
Yeah.
What's the name of that nightclub of yours again?
You talking about the Boom Boom Room?
Yeah, the Boom Boom Room. That's it. Boy, I sure like to see that place and you get it all up and running and pretty looking.
Yeah, me too, Ray. Me too. I like to see that room too. Yeah, I tell you what though, Radio, you should have been by there last night. You'd have had yourself some big fun.
What talking about that last night?
Just like I said last night, Satchmo was up in there and nearly blew the roof off the place. Ray, who that? Satchmo.
You mean Louis Armstrong?
The Satchmo, that's what I call him. I know him personally. Whenever he come by my spot, I call him Satchmo, and he come by whenever he in town.
Hey, ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit, man. You always trying to say something at the wrong time.
Finish and do whatever you got
Go
to do.
on sleep. Let us have our fun.
Sleep. Go ahead there, Ray. Finish telling us about
Go
that.
on, Ray. Go on, Ray. Tell me some more.
Go ahead, Ray.
I tell you, Ray. As I was saying, last night y'all should have come by, man. It was big fun. But y'all never guess who's gonna be there tonight.
Who gonna be there, Ray?
Who that there?
Who that, Ray? Just guess.
I got a man that's more than 8 foot.
Oh, man, I ain't have my mic up. Big up. Like I said, once again, let me introduce y'all to my brother, Robert Williams. What's good?
What's going on, man? Good morning, brother. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you fine. Yo, man, I love what you've been doing on social media. It's been very, very dope. Like I said, man, how it had to be the Corona pandemic that got this started. How'd you even get started doing this?
Well, I was actually doing this kind of stuff, not in this capacity on like TikTok, but I was always doing like filmmaking, videography, and stuff like that. But you're absolutely right. When the pandemic hit, it kind of shift focus, you know, because instead of going out filming with people and taking my camera out and shooting other people, now I needed something to do. So, you know, we looked into TikTok. My daughter kind of showed me what it was, and from there it just took off. I haven't been off TikTok since.
Man, I'm telling you, every time I see a new one, I get excited because I mean, you never run out of material. As many songs you got, as many films, and I'm waiting to see you on the big screen with this acting already. I can see it coming.
Oh man, that's dope, man. I definitely appreciate it, man. Who knows? You know, right now it's kind of like a thing that we're doing for fun. You know, I get my family involved. They're super helpful. You know, if my family comes from New Jersey to visit, you know, I make sure I add them into TikTok. Everybody knows if you come to my house, you're doing a TikTok. So, you know, it may lead to something. It may not. I'm just having a blast doing it for right now, man.
That's beautiful, because the thing I always say, nation building and revolution starts at home. So you got it going on and you're doing it with your family. And like I said, I can't wait to see even more. And in case y'all didn't know, Robert is from my hometown. We even played on the same elementary football team together. It's crazy. But big up White City, big up Trenton, Jersey. You know what to do. So
yes, sir.
So what's the best way to watch all these different pieces you got?
You can watch me. You can find me on TikTok and IG at the same name. It's Robert Williams Films. And then you can also contact me on email address if you have a question. You reach out for collaboration or something at rlwbusiness@yahoo.com.
Yo, we're gonna send them out on this last one right here, man. I want you around for this one. Check this out, y'all. This one was check this out.
Did I ever ask you for anything? Did I ever ask you for anything? I never asked you for nothing, not even your sorry ass hand in marriage. Nothing. I never asked you for nothing.
Oh, Sophia home now. Sophia home. Things gonna be changing around here too.
I'm going Sugar.
You going where?
I'm going with Miss Celie and Sugar. I'm fixing to sing.
Too much racket going on around this house. Pass me them peas, yeah. Now listen, Squeak.
No, it ain't Squeak.
What?
My name is Mary Agnes.
Mary what?
Mary Agnes.
Mary Agnes. What? Miss Mary, who gives a damn? Boy, if you gonna let this little nappy-head gal sit here and cuss you out like that, you sitting at the head of your own dinner table and you acting like waiter.
Hush your old fool, always meddling in somebody's business. Sophia home now. Just hush her.
Give my money, not one thin dime.
Yes. Yo, big up once again, Robert Williams Films. Go check him out. Thanks for coming through.
Yes, sir.
Check you next time, bro.
All right. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, right here once again. Let's go. Yeah.
Son, I feel like at some point, every black family has that explosion where somebody says, I ain't never asked you for nothing. You ain't never done nothing for me. You never supported me. I was like, what? I was like, how many times has that happened at the dinner table or some conversation, usually some drinks involved, where that's not somewhere that line pops up where somebody's just about to be like, yo, I ain't never asked you for nothing.
I have uttered that line at loud voice, at a loud decibel.
I think I've said that line. One or two people. I never asked you for shit.
Hey, man. I get caught up on the life joint. I'm that baby pappy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out
to Pappy. Yes.
Hey, yo, I'm telling y'all, go to this page. Y'all gonna see so much. I'm talking about rap videos, movies, TV shows, all redone. And I mean, it's just good to see, like I said, the whole family getting involved, and it's a beautiful sight. So I had to show that brother some love. You know that?
True.
Oscar-worthy performances there.
No
doubt.
Y'all
played football together?
Huh?
You played football in school?
Come on, man. I played football all the way to my senior year in high school, son. A running back. Don't get it twisted now. That's right.
You heard that, Kim? What he called
boy.
me? I think he called me.
Hey, he did call you something else.
I was running on the back of the bench. I wasn't getting no play.
What did he call you? Come on.
Kalanji.
Huh?
I heard that too. I heard that. I heard
Okay,
that.
okay. Because I'm thinking it's just me. I'm like, did the man just call my man up?
Yes, he did. Yes,
You
he
called me
did.
a cunt. You called me a cunt. Yeah,
He did call you a cunt, man.
Who did?
You did.
You did.
I called him what?
Slippage in your words.
Called him
A
a
cunt,
C-U-N-T.
Nah, I didn't say that. I said cuz.
Hey, yo, come
No,
on.
he
Always
meant to
come.
say cunt.
Ear Doc always trying to.
Maybe he
No,
meant
I
not
ain't
to
say
say
that.
cunt.
Come on.
Hit the
Yo, I
rewind
don't even
button,
use
man.
that language. Y'all gonna have Ear Doctor canceled out here. Chill, God.
No, Ear Doctor got Ear Doctor kiss.
Yo,
Anyway,
I know we got Balagoon on the way, so yo, I'm gonna be out y'all way to next break. Peace.
all right, one love. Anyway,
Sir.
I don't know something. Ear Doctor, his slip.
Lack of football skills.
How soon?
Yeah.
How soon we going to Brother Balagoon?
We're gonna go right about now. So bring my man Balagoon and Belay forward, please. Warrior flag.
Greetings. This is the Technique of the Week. I'm Balagoon OJ Sade. And today we want to talk about the process of action. All right. Avoidance is the highest level of self-protection. Okay. To not be there when it happens, or to recognize that violence is about to occur, let me get gone. Okay. Sometimes you can't avoid it and you have to put in work, but if you can avoid it, of course, it's best. I try not to get involved in violent encounters, but I'm not averse to them. Okay. So the process of action, and this is any action. So this will help you figure out any action and know that if a person does something foul to you, you say, oh, you know, it just spurred a moment. Or I just snapped. Nobody just snaps, because there's a process of action that we have to go through. So there are 4 things that you go to in the process of action: perception, thought, impulse, and then action. Okay, perception, thought, impulse, and action. If I perceive a thing, if I want to attack him, I have to perceive that he's somebody I can attack, first and foremost. If I perceive that he's somebody I can attack, then the thought of what I'm going to do to him comes into my mind. And then the impulse, the strong desire to, sometimes the need to, depending on the person's mind. The impulse comes to act. And if that impulse comes to act and nothing stops that, then the action takes place. So it's perception, thought, impulse, action. The first thing you have to deal with is the perception. You have to be perceived a certain way. If a person perceives to mess with you is to go to the morgue, they're not messing with you. The thought of harming you, it doesn't come into their head. So that is in the way you walk, the way you talk, what we call swagger, the way you are able to deal with other people. If you're walking around, meek.
Not paying attention to your surroundings.
Yeah, people pick up on that. Oh, this is a vic. This person is a victim. So if they perceive you as a victim, the thought in their mind comes in their head how they're going to victimize you. The impulse comes then, if that thought isn't killed, to victimize you. And if that impulse isn't stopped, and it's probably too late once that impulse comes, then they're going to victimize you. Okay. So one example you can have, when I went to Howard, it was 13 sisters to one brother. And I was like, man, I'm going to get all 13. And as a freshman there, the first semester, none. Because I was nervous, and even though, you know, I thought I was cool, but I was nervous. This is a whole nother environment. I'm around all these different people from different places, sisters from everywhere, and I'm like, oh man, you know, but I'm trying to act cool. People pick up, they perceive this old nervous, freshy, he ain't got nothing except nice clothes, right? So they perceive that I was this old nervous freshie, and then the thought in their mind is treat him like old nervous freshie, which is what happened. The impulse comes, let me just put him in the friend zone. It's my buddy. And the action of putting me in the friend zone happened. And then I happened to get with this sister. And once I got with that sister, all these sisters, not all 13, but all these sisters wanted to get with me. Now you say why? It was because I had on, you know, some new Bow Chicka Wow Wow cologne, or what was it? It was because now that I got with the sister, I'm walking with confidence now. I'm a whole new person now. Now they're perceiving me as this confident, cool brother about something. And so now there's more attraction there.
And that's how you feel really too. So
Right, exactly. And so they perceive me now as somebody that's, I hate to use cats because I'm not an animal, but that good catch, a good brother to be with, somebody interesting, right? And so when they perceived it, the thought in their mind is, I want to be with that brother. The impulse comes, and then the action takes place, and they came at me, and I always say I was a good guy, but I was a young guy, and so I was loyal while I was with the sister. That kind of thing, right? So it happens that way. When I walk, talk, the way I'm talking now and using my hands and the things like that, that has been all my life moving that way. So people's perception is, and it's the truth, I'm ready to deal if I have to deal. I don't think the perception in people's minds of me, eyes of me, it's the mind first when you perceive. I don't think they'll go to the morgue, right? So I've had crazy encounters all my life, but it only has to happen once in that area. Because when I get down, after I get down, and then I walk off with swagger, and he can tell you when I'm teaching class or whatever, I do whatever, boom, 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 and I walk off. That has been trained all my life to move that way, because now the people see and say, oh, no, okay. Now their perception to other folks who saw that, yeah, that's a trip to the hospital or the morgue right there. So I don't have to worry more than once. But I've had crazy.
You dealt with it yourself. You've been walking, not paying attention, and then you look and see somebody, and then they look down all of a sudden in the crowd. They were looking at you, thinking maybe this, and then you see them. It's I got exposed. Let me keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had that account,
and they saw something about you. But if they look and you see them and they don't look down, they perceive you as a sucker.
Right.
They perceive you as somebody they can take something from. And so first is how you move. Okay. When you speak to a person, try to give them your heart.
Right.
Because now I'm open. I'm giving you my heart, but I give you something else if I have to. And then you speak to them with they should perceive. I can't get in too close because the way they're talking to me, it's keeping me at a distance. The perception has to be there that they can't just grab right in your space. People walk up to me, they can't just, hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? What's going on, man? What's happening, man? What's happening? What's happening? So they perceive, oh, there's a barrier here. do that, particularly sisters.
Yes.
Men will look and study you to see if they can victimize you. You have to let them know subtly, not to stand there with a knife in your hands.
It's a conversation.
Everything's a conversation, particularly the conversation of violence.
Can I victimize you?
Right. Can I victimize you? Can I rape you? Can I beat your ass? The answer should be no.
Can I intimidate you?
And the way the answer is no. This brother came up to me. I'd gone to a club with my daughter, my oldest daughter. I don't go to clubs, but my oldest daughter, it was like a father-daughter thing. I'm gonna take her to her first club, and I'm gonna be there, right? There was a sister who I shall not name, trying to rebel rouse, cause some issues, and so she brings this big brother over to me, and my daughter said, "He's trying to dance with your daughter." I said, "Well, he should be. She's beautiful." So, you know, even if she wasn't beautiful, I mean, it's just a dance. I said, "Yeah, you know, of course, cool. It's cool, brother." Instead of this man saying, "Well, thank you," you know, and then talking, asked my daughter if she wanted to dance, he said, "What? It's a problem or something?" To me. Because he perceived, I'm sitting down, so he perceived that, you know, I whoop this little dude with thick glasses, I'll whoop his ass. And I said, "Oh, well, ain't no problem. Ain't no problem, man. You know, it's me and you, man." I'm putting my hands on, like, the conversation is, if you do anything, if you want to, I'm going to wreck you up in here. And he said, "Oh, okay. Thank you." Because now his perception has changed.
Right. You put hands on.
I you know, without putting hands on him, I put hands on him. "Hey, you know, brother, you know, it's just me and you. Ain't no problem. Ain't a problem, big guy." He getting slapped around his chest. So he's okay. All right. You know, perception had to change. There's another reason why I don't go to clubs, because the perception begins to get warped by them drinking and things of that nature. You have to take it more to an extreme. So certain things I don't do anyway, but I try to stay away from. That's another part of avoiding violence.
It's levels of avoidance.
Right. But number one, move with purpose. Do not be afraid. And even if you are, do not show it. Move in a certain way where people see you as a hard target at worst. Somebody I just don't want to touch. That's death right there at best. Okay. But they, at the worst, they want to see you as a hard target. At least I'm not an easy Vic.
Right.
And that's based on how you move, how you talk. Okay. Your energy. Be that. So remember, first, kill the perception that you're weak. Second, if you kill the perception, you destroy the thought in their mind that you're weak or a victim. That means the impulse doesn't come to victimize you, and the action of victimizing you never happens. Thank you. That's this technique of the week. You got anything to?
No, I'm just gonna say, Shirley, we see your comments, and no, Baba does not suffer PTSD from the girls in his neighborhood that tortured him.
Well, they didn't torture me. They hit me in the groin, and you know, they actually were my friends.
I'm reading these comments, and then y'all watch out.
Now, somebody said, "I wonder if Bila is as quiet and calm as he seems." No. All right. So, love y'all. Stay black. Be safe out there. Peace.
Peace.
Hell no, B-Lay ain't as quiet as he seemed on the joint. Shout out to the comrades, Balagoon and B-Lay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Y'all think B-Lay quiet. Y'all cat damn mind. That's my arch nemesis and brother in charge. You know what I'm saying? So definitely shout out to the comrade and whatnot, man. I don't know where Kamal went for his Sade break. What's up, man? Welcome back.
You know, I have to take as many breaks as I need to, you know, when the camera's not rolling.
Okay, so you got a cup. You came back with a cup, brother. What's in that cup?
I have a cup
brother?
already, B. I've been drinking this coffee all day. What's wrong with you?
Okay, what you sipping
Your glasses
on, brother?
work? Your glasses
That's
work?
Cafe Bustelo or what? Okay, they don't know about Cafe Bustelo.
Always. They don't know about
Everybody know about Bustelo, man. Come on.
You don't know about no Cafe Bustelo.
Kim, did you have a news story or something you wanted to hit on before we
I did have a news story. I want y'all to be nice to each other. It's the full moon. I understand we got full moon in Aries, so that means Kalanji's already charged up cosmically and shit. So y'all just be nice to each other this morning, gentlemen, please.
Oh, so we're in a state of Zen today, huh?
Well, no, full moon in Aries, nigga. That's riot starter energy.
Oh, no doubt. That's my Zen.
I know.
Zen.
Okay. So
You
I
get
got to
it-
come
get it
back
going.
through it and push some more buttons. Apparently, yes.
sure.
Okay. 'Cause, hey, y'all be nice to me out here. So. When it comes to the issue of police reform, however you want to qualify police reform is allegedly happening in the form of some new laws that have been passed in the city of Philadelphia. Is this sharing yet?
No. Oh, there we go.
Right. It's a lot of damn joints you got open, Kim.
I know, because I mean I'd be busy out here. I'd be researching and shit.
Kim got a mainframe. She got them old ass joints with everything showing.
All right, guys. So Philadelphia becomes the first big city in the U.S. to ban minor traffic stops said to criminalize driving while black. So this vote happened with the Philadelphia City Council this past Thursday with a 14-2 vote. The City Council passed the Driving Equality Bill, which details 7 offenses, including improperly displayed registration or emission stickers. They qualify these things now as secondary violations, which means that these just having a broken taillight or having your emission sticker not properly displayed is no longer grounds for a pretextual stop. That means the police just cannot stop you simply because you have a broken taillight. This sort of pretextual stops is employed by police agencies nationwide as a means to affect contact and engagement with mostly black drivers or non-white drivers. So in doing so, Philly becomes the first large city in the U.S. to ban the use of these so-called pretextual stops for low-level infractions. And I'm not exactly certain. First of all, I think this is a step in the right direction. But anytime that there is new legislation passed in order to curb the behavior, the racist behavior of police, they usually just find a different way to just go around it, right? So, okay, fine. You say we can't stop niggas for broken taillights. We're going to stop them for something different now. So I'm hoping that this new law will do what it's designed to do, according to this article in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Elimination of these pretextual stops or these reasons for pretextual stops could lead to as many as 300,000 fewer police encounters every year, according to some of their projections. So what do you guys think about this?
Well, we actually, we talked a little bit about this a couple of days ago, and the idea that what real police reform looks like, and somewhat, agreeing with you. I think on its surface, right, it's not a bad thing because again, this stops interactions between the community and the police, and if that's the case, then that's a good thing. The less times police stop our folks, try to question our folks, try to interrogate our folks, the better off we are. Because when you ask the cops, like, why am I being stopped? And they get an attitude because they think their job is to control everything, that's partly what leads to a lot of these false arrests and trumped up charges of disorderly conduct and obstruction of governmental administration. So I think anything that leads the police to not being able to stop our folks and start to question our folks is a decent thing. But I agree with you. Like, this doesn't mean most of the interactions with the police and the community are basically done so on the whim of the police, right? The police initiate these encounters, which means that even if they don't have these things available, it's not like they don't have other tools in their tool belts to justify them trying to stop our folks. So I'm with it in terms of any reform that tries to make it less likely that the police will stop our folks. But again, like, we have to understand that the very nature of the police is to harass, arrest, sentence, and incarcerate our people. That's what they're there for. They're a control mechanism for our community, as well as protecting private property. And that's their job, period. Right. So there's no abolishing the police without abolishing the very people who are putting the police in our communities. So you can't say that you're going to abolish the police without talking to me about what are you doing about the capitalist state that runs the police. Like, a pig by another name can still be a pig. So even if they change the name of the operation or the department or something else, it does not mean they're giving up their armed domestic armies because all of a sudden they're worried about us feeling bad because they're arresting us or harassing us too much, and that's the very purpose of their units. So yeah,
I'm hoping or waiting for them to ban the police unions themselves. So if we can get to that particular point, I'd really be thrilled, because of the fact that, as we know and we stated in the past, the police unions are the fuel in the police department. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that back the corruption of the police department. They back these gangs in blue. And as you all would notice, whenever there's a situation and a cop murders someone in the streets, or they terrorize someone or brutalize or falsely arrest, the first person you're going to see on deck is going to be a representative of the Policemen Benevolent Association, talking about why this person is innocent and why the person who didn't have a gun was murdered, or the person who had a licensed gun in his glove compartment with his child in the back and his wife in the passenger seat was shot down because of the fact that, you know, he was black with a gun. You know what I mean? So, you know, these little, you know, the trinkets and everything, that they're cool for now. But like you said, Kamal, they'll find a way. You know, if they can't get in through the front door, they'll get in through the back door. If they can't get in through the back door, they'll climb through the window. If they can't climb through the window, they'll come down through the chimney. You know what I mean? So we got to be clear that, you know, we're dealing with an apparatus that was created and built to maintain servitude and to protect the stolen property that you know, that these folks received and parlayed. You know,
I mean, we see this in the legalization and decriminalization efforts of marijuana, right? Even though marijuana is legal in a lot of places or decriminalized in a lot of places, somehow, some way, police find a way to hem up niggas behind weed, and it still happens. Here in DC, marijuana has been decriminalized / legal for almost 10 years going on. It's been several years now. But it's still an offense that you can get cited for. They can give you a non-criminal citation. And lo and behold, where are most of the marijuana citations issued? In the District of Columbia. They are issued east of the river in wards 7 and 8, where primarily Black folks live. So even though the laws may change and may be designed or at least presented in the fact that this is, you know, a reformative effort, this is going to change the way the police engage with the community. Nope. The police are there to do what they have always been there to do, and that is harass and detain and incarcerate Black people. And laws or no laws, they will still find a way to do that.
And that's the other part I didn't mention was you're right, the revenue generation, right? There's a revenue generation off of harassment and detainment, tickets, fines, free labor, cheap labor. So there's revenue generation that the state gets out of this by traffic stops and the rest of it. So, and a lot of these states have even replaced certain aspects of their budgets, or these cities and counties, certain aspects of their budget, counting on a certain revenue generation that they get from targeting citizens in terms of car stops and the rest of it. So again, that's that extra additional motive particularly for the capitalist state, is not only do we harass, contain, and control labor, not only do we protect private property, but we actually exploit the very poor people who barely have anything anyway, and drain whatever left we can get out of them to again put back into the coffers of the city, the county, and or the state.
Right. You know, one thing that you talked about a few weeks ago, Kim, you mentioned the castle doctrine, and you know, here in Georgia, just like many states, they have the castle doctrine, and basically for folks who are unaware, the castle doctrine, at least in Georgia, means that you can have a firearm in your place of business, in your home, or in your car. Now, when you're pulled over by the police, they're not supposed to ask you if you have a firearm on your person, unless you've been believed to have committed a crime. And of course, every single time you're pulled over and you're black, they're going to ask you if there are any guns and drugs in the car. You know what I'm saying? So that shit goes out the window because it's a case by case thing. You know what I mean? And they expect you to have a weapon in your car or whatever. So really, to be honest with you, you're not even supposed to answer that question. In fact, the proper response is supposed to be, due to the castle doctrine, I know that you're not supposed to ask me that particular question. Now, they can ask you about the drugs, but being black in America, you're very melanin constitutes you as a potential criminal or terrorist. So they're going to ask you regardless. They don't give a fuck what the law is. So, you know, hopefully, you know, that'll switch up. I see that Hiram in the chat mentioned that Philly's been under black leadership for the last few years. Same shit here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? As the Ruber would say, the slaves run the plantation. We've had a black mayor for the past 41 years. You know what I'm saying? We've had a black police chief for damn near the same amount of time, off and on. But the reality is, you know, that it doesn't matter, man. It's white supremacy doesn't, you know, it doesn't have a color.
You bring up an interesting point there, Kalanji, in regards to obviously how black people are treated under the law, regardless of what the law is. And that has been the concern of people who live in states like Texas. Pookie would help me out. I know some people in the chat maybe can help me with this, because I know there are a number of states that have either enacted or are strongly considering laws regarding gun possession, that you don't need to go get the gun license. You don't need a license to carry. You just walk into a gun store, purchase a gun, and you got a gun, and you don't have to, you know, go through any permitting or anything like that. And black folks who live in these areas are concerned because they understand that it is going to be black folks that are going to be approached aggressively by police, regardless of what the gun laws are. And if niggas is caught carrying, legal or illegal, they're going to get met with violence, or at least met with the threat of incarceration, despite the fact that these new supposedly lax gun laws, because we know the Second Amendment does not apply to niggas equally.
Well, in Ackworth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, probably about 35, 40 minutes, it is a law on the books that you must have a firearm in your house, in your home. You know what I'm saying? So that's supposedly made to decrease break-ins and what do you call them, B&Es and home invasions or whatever. But the reality is, you know, that shit don't stop anything. I mean, you know, it sounds good in theory that, you know, you have a gun, so no one's going to try to rob you. But like Balagoon was just talking about in the in his training piece in the technique of the week, you know, if a motherfucker perceive you as a threat, perceive you as a victim, then you're a victim. You can have a gun on you, you can have a knife on you, you can have a bulletproof vest, all that shit, but it doesn't matter. And that is how the state perceives us. The police perceive us as suspects and victims, and that's why they continue to move in the manner they move in. So,
yeah, you know. Including threats. I was going to that's so they know we have a gun, or they think we have a gun. Unlike white counterparts, right, who can talk trash, tell them got a gun, carry the gun, use the gun, and still not get killed. That's not the case. Somebody did an interesting, this is a few years ago, and it's this person, like this dude took his life in his hands, but he was trying to demonstrate in Texas. They did like this, they were filming themselves walking around with a gun in an open carry state, and the police reaction. And one reaction, you know, they did this several different places. White guy carries a gun, open, like I think a rifle, you know, calm conversation when the police sees it, and then the police go about their way. Same scenario, black person, black neighborhood, cop car stops 50 feet before, guns drawn, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground. The guy's shouting out, like, I have a right to carry, it's open carry state. Cop is screaming at him to get on the ground. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you. And so, of course, the dude got on the ground, but and that's a long way to prove a theory that we already know in practice works. But like, that's the kind of, it's not even about the laws. It's about the racism and the white supremacy that we live in that dictates that no matter what you said, Kim, no matter what the laws are, the reaction to black folks carrying or potentially carrying, and again, as we saw, whether or not people agree completely with the politics or not, have militias, is going to be different when a white society is protecting its control, as it sees it, its control over weaponry, its control over how people move, its control over labor. It's going to be a different treatment for black folks who are going to be seen as a danger to white supremacy.
I mean, there's going to be a different treatment no matter what we're doing in America. We could be black shoppers and we're going to get different treatment. You know what I'm saying? How many times you walk around in the store? It's crazy because there was a point in my life when I would go to certain establishments and instinctually I would walk in a manner so that they would know they can see me. You know what I'm saying? And think about it, it's fucked up. Particularly
take your hands out your pockets, right?
Yeah, a lot of Asian spots I'm showing, like, I'm looking and I'm like walking and moving. Then after a while, I'm like, fuck that. Then, when they start, and I love when they follow me now. I'll dip into other aisles and come back around and shit. And then every now and then I'll be like, fuck you following me for? Oh, no, I was fixing. No, you ain't fixing shit because of the fact you fixing every aisle I'm in, motherfucker. Get out of here. This aisle looks fine. Huh?
Now, I just want to remind people, because since we're on this topic of like police and their behavior, tonight at the AUC at Morehouse, Community Movement Builders is sponsoring a workshop and a conversation with the students of Morehouse who are currently working with students of Howard, actually to talk about the issue of campus housing and how the administration treats its students. And similarly here with Morehouse and Spelman, we are not only going to talk about how they treat their students, but the support that Morehouse and Spelman administratively have given to the Cop City idea, which is the training center in Atlanta, which City Council of Atlanta recently passed, majority Black City Council, supported by Black mayors here in Atlanta, both present and future mayoral candidates. This training center, which is, if it goes through, it will be the largest training center in the country for police. Atlanta, which has nowhere the largest police force, somehow suggests or thinks that it needs the largest training center. And again, we think this is in a response to the let's say the rebellions of last year, based on not only the killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, but here in Atlanta, the brother who was killed at the Wendy's, Rashard Brooks. So we think that the Atlanta police force is gearing up for activities which are about stopping organizers and activists. And we want to bring it straight to Morehouse and straight to Spelman as to why they are supporting a police department which continually harasses their students, arrests their students in higher numbers than other students, and targets Black students here in Atlanta. So that's happening tonight. We'll put the information in the chat for folks to see, but just want to let folks know that since we were dealing on the issue of police.
Couple things. I'm definitely glad you all are doing that because that's a necessary thing. First of all, Morehouse police are pieces of shit. Every so often, you have these different cases that they go through. I remember a few years back, they dislocated one of our movement veterans' shoulder, Mukasa Dada. They attacked him for being out there organizing in the on the campus at the AUC, and they actually dislocated his shoulder, blacked his eye, and all types of shit. So definitely, that's important. But I think that one thing that needs to be pointed out when you talk about the training rounds, or what I call the killing fields, you know what I'm saying? It's the first and foremost, we have Gilley on the campus, which on Georgia State campus, which is an Israeli police force training, Israeli military training police here locally in the in Atlanta area. That's number one. But secondly, as I mentioned before, this training facility, it's not just for Atlanta police, I'm guaranteeing you that what's going to happen is police from all over the country are going to come here and use that as a sort of retreat center to train and to figure out how they can control people in their particular areas. There's only like a couple thousand cops here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like all 2,000 or so cops are going to be at that particular training facility at any given time. We're talking about that facility is like what, 100 acres or some shit like that. What's the yeah? So 100 acres. Yeah, that's you know it's going to be like a pure training ground for other police and or white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that we, you know, keep in mind, we are in the state of Georgia. And I think that for folks that don't live in the state of Georgia, you know, they think of Atlanta all the time. But like I said, these police outside of the city of Atlanta, they will tell your black ass quick, you are not in Atlanta no more, boy. You are in Georgia. They will tell you to your goddamn face that you're not in Atlanta anymore. You know what I mean? So be certain and be clear that the laws that apply in Atlanta, they don't go here in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in the rest of Georgia. And aside from that, you know, oftentimes Atlanta being the capital, some of these laws are enacted, and you think that, for instance, like the whole decriminalization of marijuana, you can drive out like 5-10 minutes, and that same law holds a criminal offense, you know, in Cobb County. You know what I mean? So it's real trickery. You got to know the boundaries, you got to know the borders, you know, the lines and the whole nine, because of the fact that that's just that's how they get down.
So on that note, we're going to take a break with the ear doctor, I believe. The ear doctor's going to come up and give us a little break.
Okay.
We at out of
big
space.
ears in the building.
I
want
space
space left.
Out of space. I'm out of space right now. But listen, I want y'all to stay on the screen for this right here. I just want to give y'all a moment of zen before we go into this weekend. And let y'all get a little laugh about a teacher in California that was doing a rain dance. Check this out.
Like you want to keep us on the screen when we supposed to be on break.
Water goddess, again, I ask you, please tell me the secret of the enchant.
It seems to be.
Sometimes when I see shit like that, I'm going like, and these are the people that's conquered the world?
These are the people that's teaching kids in school. It was a Native American kid in school that taped this and was like, unbelievable.
Racist fucktard. But this is, I mean, you know, teachers, I mean, you have a lot of fucking ignorant teachers, man. I remember
Totally.
I was teaching a history class up in Bridgeport one time, man. And this white intern or student teacher, she comes in and I'm talking about ancient Egypt. And I was telling the kids that, you know, Egypt's in Africa, so on and so forth. She stands up in the middle of my shit. She said, Egypt's not in Africa. So I'm really like confused. I look around, I'm smiling, I'm salivating. I'm like, well, where is Egypt? She said, Egypt's in the Middle East. So I actually had to pull the fucking map down and show her that Egypt was in Northern Africa. And I'm like, wow, you're going to be teaching our children in the inner cities. And you're going to tell me in front of them that Egypt's not even in Africa. And she's sitting there looking stunned and really sitting there studying the map like I made the motherfucker myself and put it up on the damn on a thing. So it's like, you know, we can't just take for granted that because a motherfucker has a job that the functions of that job are going to be carried out properly. You know, it's just like with the police. Folks see a black cop and they think like, "Ooh, thank goodness that I see you. Get your ass on the ground."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you come to Atlanta, you'd be totally confused because where I'm from, Bridgeport being a smaller city, we pretty much grew up and went to school with all the cops, and you know what I mean, and or you know that this cop is related to someone. But shit, here, these niggas got something to prove. They like the plantation is ran by us.
Yeah, I just wanted to give y'all a good quick laugh before the weekend, but we're gonna go into a quick break so you know, Kamal can use the bathroom. All right, let's go.
Sorry.
We're this morning show. We're in the building.
What up, what up, what up, what up, everybody? What's good? This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And make sure y'all tune in this Sunday for real. For real, though. This Sundays, I'm going to rock out and do an 80s mix. That's my plan. So make sure y'all tune in for that real quick. But how about we give you a little bit of mix to go out for the weekend? Let's get it like that. Come on. I got so much trouble on my mind. It goes a 1, 2, 3, a 3, a 2, 1. It goes a 1, 2, 3, 3, a 2, 1. And that's what it is, y'all. Real quick mix, little bit of musical break for y'all. Make sure y'all tune in this Sunday for Sundays. All right. I'll check y'all then. Let's get back to the morning crew. You know how we do. Yeah. All right.
Remix Morning Show. There we go. We got a real live official DJ. Not
Ooh.
just any DJ, a nigga that actually know how to blend and mix and scratch. Now listen. In the year 2021, not all DJs are coming with that skill set. So y'all need to pay homage to Ear Doctor out here. Ear Doctor is holding up the craft out here. He is out here setting the standard for DJs out here. So thank you, Ear Doctor.
Damn, appreciate it, Kim.
And
we
what
gotta come to
praises
DC and Maryland and rock out, man.
Hey.
Praises due.
What DJ on what morning show will cut it up, make you dance, and then turn around and call your host the C word?
Oh, listen, I did not say that, man. I did not even say that word.
Ear Doctor. The beautiful thing about when Ear Doctor say he didn't say anything is it's a rewind button on this motherfucker.
Unless I'm watching Pornhub, I do not say that word. So cut it out.
Whoa, TMI, sir. See,
it goes back to Kamal Silver taco meat. We get carried away on the Remix Morning Show, man. I'm on the wrong show, man. See who else is hired.
It's not all silver.
Hey, yo, Kim, what you got coming up before I get out of here so I can watch what you got going on?
Hey, so tomorrow on Burn It Down with Kim Brown, I want us to take a peek at the so-called refund the police movement, which is beginning apparently here in the state of Maryland with our Republican governor, Larry Hogan, taking a lot of time out of his day to announce the fact that the state is intending to give $150 million additional dollars to police, despite the fact that police had not been defunded in the state of Maryland at all. Contrarily, Baltimore City increased funding for police. Meanwhile, kids in Baltimore City are attending schools that don't have proper AC, ventilation, and probably heat as well. So way to go for Larry Hogan to refund the police. Also happening in Baltimore City, the state's attorney there, Marilyn Mosby, is not releasing or is being forced by a court to release the so-called do not call list, the list of Baltimore police officers who have either been known to perjure themselves or just be generally full of shit, that they are unreliable witnesses to the extent that the state cannot call them as witnesses. And the state's attorney, so-called progressive prosecutor Marilyn Mosby, was trying to protect this list from coming out. So a federal, a Maryland Court of Appeals, I believe, is forcing this to happen. So that's some of what we will be discussing tomorrow on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Please join us and subscribe.
Nice. I will be there. Yo, I'll check y'all out. Have a great weekend. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Well, Sunday. And then Tuesday. Peace.
Sunday's in the place to be. Also, tomorrow, don't forget I Mix What I Like. If we don't mention I Mix What I Like tomorrow morning, ooh, it's going to be hell to pay. I also want to say that we have a special Riot Starter TV tomorrow as well, with an interview with a daughter of an assassinated revolutionary icon from the 60s. That'll be taking place tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on Riot Starter TV, Black Power Media. Make sure y'all subscribe to Black Power Media. You know what I'm saying? I know damn well we reaching more than 11,600 people. I'm not really trying to believe that we're not. I know some of y'all don't want to hit the subscribe button. Don't worry, the feds already know you're watching. It's okay. You can go ahead and hit subscribe. You know what I'm saying? So we can just keep you updated on what's going on. We know y'all love the Remix Morning Show. True. We know you love all the programming we have on here. So why y'all fronting on us? Why won't y'all say that we doing what we do? Come on now. Show us love.
Preach, brother. Okay. Preach.
Yeah, I feel like they got us on a relationship where they don't want nobody to know they rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? What, we too ugly? Come on, man. Stop being that way.
See,
we're gonna be all right.
And aren't we trying to reach a certain goal for patrons to Black Power Media? We're trying to get to what, 230 patrons by the end of the month?
We're trying to get to 230 patrons for the month. So real quick, we've hit 225 a number of times. I'm not complaining because people told me I can't complain, but you know, the first of the month hit. It's like them checks come first, but in this case, first of the month hit, and all of a sudden the cards, you know, they stop working. People switch their cards, they lose their cards, and so we always drop from 225 to 215 to 218. But look, because of this good work that we're doing, we need to get above that plateau. We need to hit a higher figure. We got other podcasts. We got folks we know, folks we even support that are hitting much higher figures. There's no reason that we have a whole network here of shows that we need to support, that we need to get out, that we need to add on to. And again, we've talked about doing some real investigative news services and other things. And we can only do that with your support. So your support here, your support on Patreon is much needed. So at the very least, by the end of the month, we're trying to hit that 225 and plus, so that by the time the month hits, the time November 1st hits, when that automatic decrease happens, we're not tipping too far below that. And then our real sights are going to be set by the end of the year to hit 300 Patreons. That's going to be our mad goal.
Come out. What's the lowest tier that people can support Black Power Media at?
$2. They get $2 a month.
Okay.
$2 a month.
So this is what I've been telling my patrons, and people have really responded. So Patreon is doing this thing where they're giving 15% off annual memberships. So if you are supporting Black Power Media at the $2 a month tier, to support Black Power Media for the entire year with 15% off, it comes to $20.14. If you are supporting at the $5 a month tier with the 15% annual membership, it comes to $51. And those patrons, like that money and those patrons like stay with you for the entire year. So people are committing to support for the entire year, but they're only making a one-time payment. You follow me? Mm-hmm. So y'all take advantage of that 15% off the annual memberships on Patreon. So that way you could just drop a dub dub and some change, or a 50 and some change, and you be good for the whole year of worth of support for Black Power Media. So I'm encouraging everybody to do that. We got a lot of new patrons for people doing that, because they're like, come on, Kim, we got $20.14 for you. Ain't no problem.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't even get a bag of boom for $20 no more, man. You know what I'm saying? The dub is like one blunt. You know what I'm saying? Kim, you know, right? You ain't get nothing good.
It's an
you
8,
get nothing
maybe
good for $20.
3.5
Boy,
at least.
Man, at least. And that's $45 here. But anyway, thank you, Kim and Kamal. And I know some of y'all are like, why they begging? Let me tell y'all something real quick so y'all can understand what we're doing. We've been in effect for less than a year. We already have 1.5 employees on payroll. We're looking to employ someone else. We want to begin to pay some of our programmers because of the fact that they are valuable to us and you. You know what I'm saying? Folks like Kim Brown, give them the valuable face real quick.
The value of a face?
No, your valuable face. Show them your valuable face.
Oh.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like, don't you want to see Kim do that every damn morning? But we can't do that if Kim electricity can't stay on while she trying to do what the hell she trying to do. So make sure y'all support the RemiX and support Black Power Media in particular through our Patreon. Matter of fact, it's ticking right through the bottom of your screen right now. We want to make sure that we are empowering our people. Like Kamal said, we need investigative journalists. Who knows? Some of you in the chat might end up working with us on Black Power Media. But we can't pay nobody if we just coming out our own pockets. You know what I'm saying? Work with us. Help us stay here. Please. Please. Help us stay
Help
here.
the babies. Help the babies.
Yes. So anyway, that's our begging for the moment.
True. That was hard.
What else is going on, man? What else we got out in the world?
You know,
another piece too. Go ahead, brother.
Another piece of serious news. Really quick, I get with y'all because we've been talking about this police stuff that's been happening, and as folks may remember, the trial of Ahmaud Arbery is starting.
Ahmaud
Arbery is starting, and he was killed in Georgia, if I remember correctly, last year, and killed by a former police officer, that police officer's son, and a neighbor who basically followed him as he was jogging. And one of the prime suspects was videotaping as they stopped him. He tried to leave and just keep on going about his way, and then they shot and killed him. And to make matters worse, the district attorney, the prosecutor's office, basically covered up the killing, decided not to prosecute the killing at all. And it took people coming out in the streets, going to this small town in Georgia to come out and protest for there to be national attention, which led to the indictments of these folks. And so the trial is starting, jury selection is starting. And remember, this is jury selection in this small town where folks are probably going to support these folks. Again, if there's not mass pressure on watching what took place during this trial. So we have to keep up the pressure that started when this brother was killed and keep that pressure going throughout the trial, again, to see any small amount of justice in this particular case.
Shout out to... Go ahead, I'm sorry, Kim.
Because part of what was I found kind of surprising about this whole case with Ahmaud Arbery, obviously the circumstances surrounding his murder, his lynching, basically. He was lynched for jogging in a neighborhood and being Black. But the prosecutor or the district attorney, help me out, Kamal, because I can't remember whom it was or what their title was, but the person in charge of filing charges, who was reluctant and or unwilling to charge these white men in Ahmaud's lynching, was charged themselves with I can't remember if it was obstruction of justice or something along those lines. And I can't remember where I'm sorry, there's a lot of things I can't remember about this, but I can't remember were they charged by the state of Georgia, or did the Department of Justice actually get involved and charge this particular prosecutor with interfering with this investigation?
Yeah, I believe it's the state of Georgia. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think it is the state of Georgia that charged. Because this started under the Trump administration, and their Justice Department did not charge anybody. But we'll see. I think as I'm reading it now, it says later this year, the 3 pursuers are scheduled to face trial on charges that they violated the federal hate crimes law also. So keep that also in mind.
And this goes back to what I said about Georgia a little while ago. this is Ahmaud Arbery, a case that gained national attention. You know, where he was, you know, hunted down and legally lynched. Then you have the case of Rayshard Brooks, who was murdered by police at the Wendy's, and then the police officer actually got his job back before the trial even took place. Then you have the situation a few days ago. We had excuse me, Kendrick Johnson, you know, his family on. You know, all of this is in the state of Georgia. So when we tell you that it ain't sweet around here, and they're talking, this is why we don't need that Cop City bullshit, because of the fact that it's already the OK Corral around here. It's already Cop City. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be clear about when we say that this is Georgia and this is America. These are some examples. This is just in one state. This is also the state where they murdered 92-year-old Katherine Johnson, where they kicked in her door. And not only did they murder her, they accused her of selling drugs, handcuffed her after they shot her up, and planted weed in her basement, and then turned around and got an informant, a 24-year-old informant, to go out and say that, look, you know, say that you bought drugs from these people, from this house. He remembered who the woman was. He's like, nah, she's like a grandmother to me. He gets on TV with this jackleg preacher who now is supporting the police, Markel Hutchins, right here in Atlanta, who's now supporting the police on a national level and calling for more police after he was allegedly the family spokesperson for the family of 92-year-old Katherine Johnson. Now, I want to point out, and I'm mentioning this piece of shit because of the fact that she had a niece, and the niece was so overwhelmed that she ended up dying some years later from a broken heart / heart failure, whatever, because this piece of shit was talking about suing the family because of the fact that they didn't kick out no dough for his particular work in pushing the case of Katherine Johnson. So this is the type of scenario, this is the type of reality we live in. You know, so shout out to the true workers out there who are working on behalf of our people and who are not doing it for fame and who are not doing it for a name and are really working towards our liberation, man. So, you know.
Let me give some details because I don't like to be reporting stuff and I don't have my facts correct. So it was this happened in Glenn County, which is a coastal county in Georgia, indicted former Brunswick Judicial Court District Attorney Jackie Johnson on a felony count of violating her oath of office and hindering a law enforcement officer. This is also stemming basically from her misconduct regarding the investigation into Ahmaud Arbery's murder. Jackie Johnson has been charged with a couple of misdemeanors and a felony surrounding misconduct around that. So the prosecutor got charged, which I thought was, you know, not unheard of, but so unlikely that so hopefully we will get some justice, whatever justice looks like in this case.
And only again because it was so egregious, right? It was so that once it was brought out publicly about what took place, that this person, and it was film again to back up the story, because if there was no film, and this happens over and over again, even sometimes when there is film, but if there was no film to actually point out, because remember, they started trying to create a narrative that suggested that he was a prowler or a burglar, or he stopped at a house and he was looking in windows. And unless there was a film that unless we had that film that showed what actually took place, you know, again, this would be mucked and mired in sort of a he said, she said, particularly when it comes to any prosecution against the prosecutor. So it's important to note that it's out of the ordinary. And then I want to mention this as an aside, that again, we have in these cases where you have folks who are great organizers and activists who've done a great work in bringing this to the public. But unfortunately, you still have that sort of slimy side of activism where people, after his killing, started creating nonprofits and started thinking about deals that they could make off of his name and the fact that he was running in opposition to what the parents wanted to happen. And so they started talking about remembering him, but then it became this branding conversation about who he was and so forth and so on. So we got to remember that this is not only about the victim and the victim's family, but a larger movement to talk about these issues and how they impact our community, and to talk about the real nature of law enforcement in our communities.
And two things to add on real quick. definitely. I second what you just said, Kamal, and also to Kim's point. Part of the reason she was charged as well was because of the fact one of the assailants and the assassins actually worked in the same office as her. I believe they worked under her at one point. But also want to shout out the Patreons. We just got a $20 patron. Shout out to Elliot Hampton out there, you know what I mean, for coming through. He liked Kim Face, so he's like, I'm going to put up $20 on that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Gerald E. and also Paul Alexander, who've also become patrons in the last 24 hours since we've been promoting this. I want to say that usually when we were doing Renegade Culture, we would always shout our patrons out. So we definitely going to get back started with that because we want to show you all that we appreciate your support for our content. Getting up every morning and preparing what it is we're doing and going through the motion and the notions and all that, it's not an easy task, especially when we are not funded. We're not funded by corporate sponsors, any of that type of stuff. So we are absolutely grateful and we appreciate the fact that you appreciate us. So anyway, with that in mind, make sure you check out the rest of our content. We have a long weekend ahead. Again, Burn It Down Kim Brown tomorrow. Tonight, Kamal and the crew will be broadcasting live from 6 to 8 p.m. Talking about the whole Cop City piece. Tomorrow night, again, Burn It Down. We have Riot Start at 8 p.m. On Saturday, we have excuse me.
Uncle Devin.
I Mix What I Like tomorrow morning. Let's start with that. Then the rest of that stuff. Uncle Devin on Saturday morning. If you haven't checked out Uncle Devin's children's show, you're slipping.
So cute. It is cute.
Slipping. I am so grateful to have Uncle Devin on this particular platform because of the fact that it balances it out with beauty. Then we have Warrior Class at 1 p.m. Then Sundays on Saturday. I mean, Sundays
on Sunday nights, 8 o'clock. Yes.
Thank you.
And if you were a real revolutionary parent, you let your child watch Uncle Devin and Warrior Class at the same time or back to back. And real quick, I want to address somebody in the chat who said I was smoking some Reggie. Listen here, goddammit, we smoke nothing but the yums, honey. This is the yums. And you see that? Look at that gorgeous piece of nug right there. You talk about I smoke some Reggie. I will hop in the chat and smack niggas in the back of the head. Don't talk about I smoke Reggie, shorty. I'm a professional cannabis consumer, honey. We don't smoke Reg.
No Reg around here.
I'm grown. The baby smoke the Reg. I'm an adult.
And unlike Sean King, that is not sponsored by the people. That
your Patreon dollars won't go to.
It would not go to Kim's habit. Anyway, you check it out, the Remix Morning Show. Medicine. Exactly. I gotta go take care of my cataracts now. Remix Morning Show.
Morning Show.
See y'all later.
Have a good one, y'all. See ya.
Yes.